Good morning, students. Welcome to the 8th lecture of The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. So, in our previous classes, we have seen the first phase of relationship between Khushwant Singh and his grandmother. He recollects how during his stay in the village, he was very close to his grandmother and both were almost like good friends. But there comes a change in his life when they come to live in the city, because the author starts attending an English medium school and the grandmother fails to accompany him to school or even help him in his studies. Still, they continue to live in the same room. The third phase of relationship starts when the author starts going to the university. It is then when the common link of friendship is snapped. So he writes, "When I went up to university, I was given a room of my own. The common link of friendship was snapped." So I suppose you remember that when he was in school, he lived with his grandmother in the same room. So though the grandmother could not help him with his studies, at least they had some moments of togetherness. But when he started going to the university for his higher studies, he started living separately in a different room. It is then that this close bonding of relationship, the common link that connected them together, the same room, that was snapped. My grandmother accepted her seclusion with resignation. That means without any protest, without any show of regret. His grandmother silently accepted her isolation from her grandchild. She rarely left her spinning wheel to talk to anyone. So with that, there comes over a change in the life and the routine, the habits of the grandmother as well. She started spending more time with the spinning wheel, and she would hardly talk to anyone. She won't talk to anyone because she loved talking to her grandchild. Now that the grandchild is staying separately, or rather she has been isolated from her grandchild, she decided not to talk much with anyone, and rather she started spending more time with some other activities. From sunrise to sunset, she sat by her wheel, spinning and reciting prayers. Only in the afternoon, she relaxed for a while to feed the sparrows. So, these are the three activities that the grandmother stuck to. See, when the author started going to the university, he had a different life of his own. He had to spend more time in his studies. He had his own company of friends. So definitely there is a change in his life as well. The grandmother, having no other company, started spending time in three major activities. That is, spinning the wheel, reciting her prayers, counting on the beads of rosary, and during the afternoon, feeding the sparrows in her courtyard. While she sat in the veranda, breaking the bread into little bits, hundreds of little birds collected round her, creating a veritable bedlam of chirrupings. So, here the author is giving a description of the moment that the old lady spent with the sparrows. It was during the afternoon when she usually had her lunch. It is during that time that hundreds of tiny little birds, sparrows, they collected, they hovered around her, creating a veritable bedlam of chirrupings. That means incoherent noises, as if they were, it was like a bedlam like situation. What is a bedlam? Actually, bedlam is a reference to an asylum, lunatic asylum, a place where psychological patients are being treated. Okay, so the little birds, they created such a noisy environment, it was almost like a bedlam, right? So this is why it has been compared, the chirrupings, the sound, the twittering sound of the birds, it has been compared with the veritable bedlam. Some came and perched on her legs, others on her shoulder. Now these birds, they not only hovered around her head, they also came and rested on the various parts of the grandmother's body, on her legs, on her shoulders. Some even sat on her head. She smiled, but never shooed them away. Shoot means drive them away. The grandmother, instead of being angry with the little birds, rather she was very happy and she would be smiling delightfully, seeing the birds' reaction. It used to be the happiest half hour of the day for her. Rest of the day she used to be busy with her regular work, the mundane work, spinning the wheel while reciting her prayers. But the best moment of the day was while she spent with her sparrows. Why? Because these tiny little birds, they could understand the language of love that the grandmother showered upon them. The way she broke down the tiny little breadcrumbs into small bits, and the way the little sparrows would peck at those tiny granules of bread. Both the grandmother as well as the sparrows would be delighted. Their joy seems to have no extent, no boundary. So, the author refers that half hour that the grandmother spent with the sparrows to be the happiest one for her as well as for the sparrows. When I decided to go abroad for further studies, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. So now comes a time when the author decides that he has to go, or rather he has to move in for higher studies. He decides that he must go to London. It is not mentioned here which place he is going. If you refer to Khushwant Singh's life and autobiography, you would find that he had decided to go to London. I was sure my grandmother would be upset. So even Khushwant Singh knew that his grandmother would be very sad, because though she hardly got to see her grandson during these days, still he was very much in the same house. But now that he was going abroad, it was a matter of worry for the old lady. I would be away for 5 years, and at her age, one could never tell. Khushwant Singh had gone or had decided to go to London for how many years? 5 years. And it was a long period of time. During these 5 years, anything could happen to the grandmother, because remember what he was telling? She was terribly old, terribly old. She cannot grow older. That means she has reached a maximum age limit. And it was very much possible that grandmother might pass away. So there was a doubt in his mind about the well-being of the grandmother. But my grandmother could. However, contrary to his thoughts, contrary to his doubts, his grandmother, she knew, she was confident that she would be able to live these 5 years, and she would wait till the return of her grandson. She was not even sentimental. She didn't show her emotions. Rather, she was not at all emotional, he says. She came to leave me at the railway station but did not talk or show any emotion. From here, we can also understand that during the time of Khushwant Singh, railways were the only means of travel from one place to another, even longer journeys. That is, from one country to another also, when you have to travel, you have to take a train, right? There were no flights, or rather regular flights, okay? Now, the grandmother, she came to drop him, see him off at the railway station. But she did not talk. She didn't say anything to him or even show or express her emotion, how she was feeling right at that moment. Her lips moved in prayer. Her mind was lost in prayer. Her fingers were busy telling the beads of her rosary. Silently, she kissed my forehead, and when I left, I cherished the moist imprint as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. So very, very emotional moment for the author, if not for the grandmother. I believe that probably the grandmother was also as sad as Khushwant Singh. But from here we can understand that she was a very, very strong woman. A woman who had the power to, subdue or rather control her emotions. She didn't break up into tears or burst out into tears. Rather, she was able to control her emotion, control her passion, and instead she simply wished good luck, and as a gesture of her blessings, she planted a kiss on the forehead of the author. Okay, all the while she was simply praying, lost in her world of prayers, in the world of God, in her spiritual world, wishing good things for the author, right? So you can see how this old lady was so devoted and so lost in her own spiritual world, how strong a person she was. Generally what happens when we have to go away from our dear and near ones, we break down emotionally, isn't it? But then despite being a very old lady, at her age, she was able to control her emotion. Now this is another quality which is very, very unique about Khushwant Singh's grandmother. She had showcased extreme patience and composure at the moment of her grandson's departure abroad, though she knew that he was going for 5 long years. It is true that she was sad and heartbroken, but she didn't express this in public. She knew that, internally there was a gut feeling in her that she would be able to see her dear grandson Khushwant Singh once again, okay, and that she would be surviving these 5 long years. So we come to an end of the lecture. Thank you very much for watching till the end.